Just when you think the sick, twisted, woke, gender-bending left can't outdo themselves, they surprise us once again. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this segment of The Least Woke Man in America. And I got to talk to you about a story I would have never dreamed of 20 years ago. Well, this whole situation with the gender changes, the puberty blockers, the gender dysphoria, who could have ever thought of this? So I'm going to be reading a lot in this segment. Don't get bored, but I just think I want to give credit where credit is due. Because Matt Walsh, the podcaster who works for Ben Shapiro in the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro's outfit, broke this story about Vanderbilt University. It's so disturbing. This is from the Federalist. Since 2018, Vanderbilt University Medical Center has unabashedly promoted chemical castration and genital mutilation for minors. Now, the Daily Wire's Matt Walsh exposed how the Nashville-based facility began performing irreversible, keyword irreversible, procedures, masses gender-affirming care on kids in 2018. That's how long this has gone on. And a big moneymaker. Folks, you understand this? Secondary education, Vanderbilt University, the most loving and open-minded and enlightened among all of us, are doing irreversible surgeries, making profits. You know those things we always hear about with big oil, big pharmaceutical, big tobacco, big defense? Well, they're making profits on changing minors' gender and performing irreversible procedures on them. This is insane. Okay, so... And there's people that you mentioned Trump's name, meltdown. You mentioned you voted for Trump, meltdown. You mention anything. You mention Roe versus Wade being overturned, meltdown. Abortion, meltdown. You mentioned this. That's not good. That's not right. Not that that's, but the level of intensity is nowhere where it should be. It's time for people to stop being wishy-washy in these. When it comes to certain categories of news events, of stories, of situations like this one. If you want to be wishy-washy as far as how much we spend on military defense, that's fine. If you want to be wishy-washy as far as labor rules, that's fine. If you want to be wishy-washy as far as how much land the federal government turns into parks and whether or not they have the right to do it, I get it. There should be no wishy-washiness when it comes to this gender stuff. It's sick, it's twisted, it's abnormal. Just like in my podcast a long time ago, I talked about Ron DeSantis, how he shut down those freaks who were trying to, public school teachers trying to talk to 6-year-olds about their gender identity. And the freaking dummy food group turned it into don't say gay. It had nothing to do with being gay. We're talking, and they remember that? They look in the video, gay, gay, gay. They make Twitter videos of themselves saying gay. They look so foolish. So this is a black and white evil situation. There's no ambiguity. And so, and the crazy part is, the Federalists, so Matt Walsh, to his credit, broke this, the podcaster, and there's so many things that are amazing about this, but one of them is this Ellen Clayton, who works for Vanderbilt University. She said a video was shared by Walsh showing Vanderbilt health law expert Dr. Ellen Clayton stating that doctors who refuse to provide body mutilating surgeries, in parentheses, removing breast and genitals, due to their religious beliefs, will face consequences. And this is, as someone who lives in New York, I can't tell you how disturbing this is for me, because I don't know if it's true or maybe it's far-fetched, but when you live in a deep blue state like I do, you always assume the more conservative states are kind of like the last bastion to prevent this type of stuff from happening. And then you look at Tennessee and the Bible, well, even though, yes, of course, within Tennessee, Vanderbilt is super liberal. I understand these things can happen in red states. But this defiance of this Ellen Clayton, if you're Christian and you don't want to mutilate someone's genitals, you will face consequences. It does not get any scarier than that. And remember, these are the people who in their own minds are protecting our democracy from the fascist, mutilating genitals, human experimentation. Does that sound familiar to anyone? From I say, 80 years ago on a different continent that starts with an E? Oh my God. So Walsh says in his blog, My team and I have been investigating the transgender clinic at Vanderbilt here in Nashville. Vanderbilt drugs, chemically castrates, and performs double mastectomies on minors. But it gets worse. Here's what we found. Let's start at the beginning, and he goes through it. But on minors, folks, they can't, some of these people aren't old enough to get a driver's license or vote. But they're allowing them to change their genitals. And gender aside, what's taking place with a lot of these kids? Maybe they have low self-esteem. Maybe they suffer from depression. Maybe they're going through a phase in life. I mean, before this, I'd always been told by the mental health community, all types of hormones and emotions are taking place at that age, those teenage years, mood swings, minor depression, sometimes severe depression, and they need to go see a therapist or talk to, adults. Now we've turned that into the possibility, just a phase they're going through, into permanent, irreversible surgeries that, in this case, Vanderbilt, it could not be more clear, is making a lot of money off. And then there's even this buddy program, and that's why I want to share with you in the little time I have left here that Welsh talks about, where they literally, the trans buddy program. Listen to this. This is part of the Federalist article that included the Trans Buddy Program, which pairs vulnerable kids with transgender activists who, in Walsh's words, evaluate the, quote, doctors to guard against unsafe behaviors such as misgendering. So, and Walsh says here, Vanderbilt makes their Trans Buddy Program available to children, too. They make lots of, quote, services available to children, moneymaker, including chemical castration, though at some point in the last month they removed explicit omission of this fact from their website. So when Walsh broke this, they scrubbed their website. Gee, okay, so maybe it's not this benign, little friendly, enlightened, we can see stuff nobody else can see, we're smarter than everybody else procedure, after all, if they scrub their website. So it's up to the rest of us. I know as this society continues to degenerate, we'll see more of this, but passivity, being passive is completely unacceptable. The brakes have to be put when it comes to this gender stuff, or terrible things are going to happen.